We are on. Hi. Right when we said we're on, I found like a fur flying in my face. So must be a dog hair that followed me here, which is not a surprise. Oh, I just unplugged myself.
Oh,
so
no.
we're good. It's just a day. Here we go.
You everything all right there, Courtney?
Yeah.
All right.
Good. 900th day of January. Where do I plug this in?
Oh, I'll run around and take a peek. There, you got it?
It's fine. We're good. We are good. I'll just try to listen until I can get in here. But good morning, everybody. It's the what? We've got the 26th of January. Let's
Sounds
see.
28th.
Holy
Oh my
cow, I'm 2
goodness.
days behind. This is the longest January on record. Thanks, Paul. Sorry about that. Sometimes I get crazy with my feet and I kick things. So it is the 400th day of January we're in 2025. And it's my second show in a row, so don't get too excited. I know it throws people off when we go back to back, but
Every week for the rest of the year, right?
wow, now I don't know. We'll see. We got Giving Hearts Day coming up, and I've got people asking about getting in on that. So it's pretty exciting. I've got people lined up and fun. You can have that on as much as you want. So you just bring your hydration. I've got guests here today, so I'm so excited. So let me kick this off so I can get right to them. My name is Courtney Barstead Logan. I'm a realtor here in the Grand Cities with eXp Realty. You can find me on social media at Grand Cities Living. A few of you are watching on Twitter as well, and that's Grand Cities Life until I guess the folks, and I guess it's called X now, my apologies, until they let me have a longer handle. It is Grand Cities Life. If you want to catch this show later while you're driving your car, you can find it on the podcast streaming site of your choice at Put a Fork in It. And then you can catch it on YouTube if you just want to watch some more shows at night. So there's all the goodies there. If you find anything that I say today offensive or you just really are excited about life, please feel free to reach out to my broker. And you can find her at exprealty.com. So all the fun stuff, all the goods. I am so excited to welcome Candace and Amanda here this morning with Nectar Wellness, Nectar IV and Wellness. Yes. Full title, ladies. Get it all in. I'm so excited. We actually met when we were modeling for Pretty Bee.
Yes.
Which was so exciting. So shout out to Pretty Bee. We're got my sweater here. It's not even sweater weather today.
No, it's not. It's beautiful
It is
outside
so
today.
nice. I saw it was gonna like almost hit 40. So just for the record, it is the 28th of January, almost 40. Exciting.
So rare.
We're so
And it was like negative 30
I think
literally
so.
a few days ago.
It was, yeah.
So that's North Dakota for you.
It's North Dakota for you, and I did title this "Let's Stay Healthy in 2025." So, as we're walking through all these temperature changes, I know my little guy's at the doctor right now to see if he's sick or if he just like kind of has a tickle in his throat, So we got to rule all that out. But I'm sure you're seeing all of it. I want to tell everybody about what is Nectar. Share with people that have not heard about you, and inform us kind of what we would be seeing if we booked an appointment with you. So maybe introduce yourselves and your background first, whoever wants to go first.
So I'm Candace. I'm one of the founders of Nectar. And so pretty much what it is as an RN in the ER, we see a lot of vitamin deficiencies that, trigger a lot of causes for coming into the hospital. And, although I was born in Warren, Minnesota, I grew up on the West Coast. So I had a functional medicine doctor. Like that was something that you had on the West Coast in conjunction with your pediatrician. And so, coming back here and moving back here after, living on the West Coast and East Coast, that was a gap in healthcare. So being able to offer like vitamin shots and IV infusions that are vitamin based is, something that bridges that gap between your primary care provider that you definitely should be seeing on a yearly basis, and just kind of giving you that boost for wellness, because a lot of people do have poor gut absorption and stuff like that.
Interesting. And so the two of you work together in all aspects of your life, right? So what brought the two of you together to do this?
I mean, Amanda, I think our moms are very much both like vitamin junkies.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And so it was something that you saw in traditional medicine. So you both are nurses in the ER. So you have that medical background that says, we're seeing this. We're seeing people come in where we can prevent illness with proper vitamins, which it's a mix, right? Of people that are like, well, I took a Flintstone 5 years ago and I'm good, right? But we also live in North Dakota where seasonal and, different things kind of contribute to, to our overall wellness.
Oh yeah, I mean, especially in northern states, just across the board, statistically, most people are vitamin D deficient. We don't exactly see the sun up here.
Right.
We live in like the polar vortex.
Right. Except for today.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, that's being able to, get a vitamin D shot like once a month. The goal is to eventually, get people onto like an oral supplement. But so many people, just with poor gut health and things like that, it's a longer road. So.
And with like a traditional vitamin, is it simple absorb? Some people just can't absorb it because I have seen the people take the vitamin and then they just see it basically in the sewer streams, like the whole vitamins in there. So if you're thinking, hey, I take a supplement, I've always taken this one, might not be enough, is what you're kind of saying. Got to kick it in the pants.
So a lot of vitamins are water soluble. And that's where like your vitamin C, your B vitamins, high doses are just going to, end up being peed out.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And so that's where, I just keep hitting.
Yeah,
that
it's
thing.
okay.
Oh, it's no worries.
Your legs, my hands, we're going to just.
But that's where, being able to make sure that you're getting those either IV or IM, and then, setting that foundation is really important for just individuals all across the board. We usually just suggest, letting your primary care provider, if you're under one, let them know that you're under like our treatment because, we want to collaborate. We do, have kind of like a vetting process. So all of our stuff is by appointments for that. We want to be able to spend time, get to know you, and find out some of like the small little like things.
Yeah.
So, because, there is so much more than to just, it's vitamins and minerals, just like, fitness, it's not a quick fix. There's not instant gratification.
Yeah.
And I think just trying to get people's like mind around that. And that's where, Amanda is great. She's really into, diet, protein, and fitness. I mean, this girl, she is like the queen of like workouts.
It's beautiful. She's like, thank you. Call me. Yeah. So if I booked an appointment, I'm feeling like something is, okay, let's be honest, I'm 42. So everything I read is like, don't worry, it's just perimenopause, And so, a lot of people, I would say, in my sphere currently are like, something's got to give in this. So I say, hey, I'm booking an appointment. I sit down with you, Amanda, and we go through. What does that look like if I schedule my appointment with you? What do we go through? What does that first appointment look like to kind of see what I would fit into?
So, like Candace said, we like to sit down with you and talk with you one-on-one to try and figure out what you're about, who you are, your medical history, if you're on any medications that could affect maybe like gut health, maybe comorbidities that you have, because there's like certain things that are gonna make you more deficient, and we can just tailor the IV or the shots that we give you to you. So that's really nice, is that one-on-one specific treatment.
So if it was let's use me as an example, and we are not giving medical advice right here online, but for the perimenopause, it's like the new hype word, okay, right? It's just the new hype word. It's kind of like, if it's just like the easy checkbox of like, we'll just lump you into this. But in looking at that, where they're like, I'm tired, or I'm not sleeping, sweating at night, things like that. What do you overall look at? Because there is the medication, the age. What is something where people say, here are some things we can look at, whether it's, do you do monthly shots? Do I come in for that IV treatment? Where do you kind of start with people that might be hesitant to jump into this? Because like Candace said, it's not a traditional thing we do here, right? We go to our doctor, we take the medication, and then we like complain about life.
So, like she said, I mean, if you could get blood work to see your specific deficiencies, that's why we would love to collaborate with you and your primary care provider.
Yeah.
That's a great place to start. And then, I mean, like you said, if there's monthly shots, you know, some people don't have time to sit for like an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, 3, 4 hours, depending on what IV they want.
Yep.
Some people don't have that time. So maybe the IM vitamins would be the better route.
Yep.
So that is a factor that we look at as well. If you can bring us blood work, but otherwise symptom-wise, I mean, like she said, vitamin D is a really, really common deficiency around here. That's like a monthly injection. And then like B vitamins, great for energy, B12, magnesium helps with your sleep. Candace, do you have anything else specific with perimenopause?
Yeah, so like, you know, especially you probably, you know, have an OBGYN
Yep.
and your primary care provider. So just because insurance is a thing, we always like it if insurance can cover. And so insurance, because we're on the preventative side of it, insurance usually doesn't cover.
Sure.
We do take HSA,
Wild, right?
FSA, yeah. But so we usually say, go to your primary care doctor, get your labs. A lot of people already have them thanks to, you know, Epic and MyChart.
Yep.
And so then we have them like upload it into our health system. And then like us and our providers, so we have a couple of APRNs, we look at it, kind of help come up with a plan, make sure that you are, you know, on the right track to get our treatments, and then we schedule it. So for like somebody who is more energy deficient, like Amanda said, your B vitamins, we have a Lipo-C and advanced Lipo-C, which a lot of women like. For men, your aminos with your taurine. Taurine helps to protect that prostate, gives men that energy, helps with like blood flow. So there's just different things that people don't quite, you know, realize how big vitamins plays a part. And especially my dad is a farmer, Scandinavian, stubborn, love him. But, you know, he's like, oh, these work. Like, and so
You're like, yeah.
yeah. So, like, for example, when I was in 9th grade, I got mono. And so my mom and stepdad, like, I was living in northern Idaho, and they would drive me to Yakima. Like, that was where my functional medicine doctor was. And so every other week, I got, like, a Myers cocktail. And it, you know, because mono is a great
Takes you
diet
out.
plan. You don't eat for the entire extent of it. So it helped with like my nutrients, it helped with like the inflammation, so I could just even swallow without like feeling like I was, you know, had the shards of glass. So I mean, it's so amazing how like vitamins and minerals can help with these deficiencies and just help boost, you know, the immunity system. Right now, I would say probably our most popular, given the cold and flu, I mean, is our immunity infusion,
Yep.
our Myers cocktail,
Okay.
and like the Tri-Immune Boost shot. So for those people that just need that quick shot, those appointments, you know, are pretty in and out, especially once you get established with us and past that, you know, initial consult where we're doing all the intake.
And get in. That's I've had a lot of mom friends who are like, oh, I got hit by the, you know, whatever is going around, you know, and I like the first thing I'm doing is like, well, you should call Nectar and see if you can get in because, you know, sorry, but moms don't have time to be sick. We like, there's no time. And, you know, sometimes we just muddle through it with, you know, whatever's going on in our house. Dads, on the other hand, I don't know, man, they just like, you know, it takes them 4 weeks and then they like return from the basement. But I've heard the man flu is worse than giving birth. I'm not sure. But, you know, so to get in and to do that. So you wake up, you've got that stomach flu or you've got the, you know, the influenza and someone says, well, I'm not taking the Tamiflu or I don't want to do, you know, this. What does that look like? They can come in and kind of get a boost to their system to kind of help get, you know, your natural system going.
Yeah, I mean, we've been fairly busy in the evenings with just people coming in and you know wanting like the immunity
Yep.
infusion. That's, I mean, it's come in. We have to check your vitals, do, you know, like the consult, And then, you know, if we can that same day, we try and get that infusion going. A lot of times, like I said, nothing is that quick instant.
Especially
But-
when you're deficient. It almost like takes like your first infusion, and then like your second infusion is when you start really, I feel like, feeling the benefits even more, is because, you know, you're deficient. So that first one's going to help get you maybe to normal levels, maybe first one, first two. And then after that, you're going to be like, oh, this is what it feels like.
Right.
To feel good
Yeah, yeah.
and to feel hydrated and have all my
that's
vitamins.
especially if you're sick, you're probably
Yeah.
like double down. And so when you're doing that, you're also are you doing like an IV fluids, which most people are
Yes.
dehydrated if they're sick in general.
And we always remind
Yeah.
people, just because you come in and get a bag of fluids,
Yeah.
keep drinking water.
Yeah.
Yes. Don't rely
Peeing
on
is
just the
good.
fluids.
Yeah, yeah.
We want you to be hydrated and
keep
develop
doing
those
that.
good habits of drinking enough water.
Yeah.
But sometimes, especially when you're sick, like you just need a little bit extra help.
A little something. Yeah. And I love that, you know, that you're working in conjunction. You're also nurses. So, I mean, that's beautiful in itself. But that you're working in conjunction with, you can say, okay, yep, I went to my doctor. You know, I've got influenza A. Here's what's going on. But, like, I need something to help because maybe I can't keep down my multivitamin or, you know, whatever it
Exactly.
might be. And what a boost that can be, you know, to your system. So hours wise and where are you located? What does this look like? If someone's like laying on the couch right now listening to us and they're like, dear me, sign me up for this. What is that, where are you located and what does it look like to get set up with you?
So we're located on South Washington. We are in the same building as Dr. Korsmo. So
Okay.
if you are familiar with the dentist,
Yep.
just down the street from the gate.
Oh yes, from the gate, yes.
Yeah. Yes.
Also, right across from Forks Finest Car Wash. Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I had my regular checkup there just last week.
See?
So get your car, you know, especially since it's a nice day, get your car washed.
Yeah,
Get all
come
that
in.
salt and
Yeah.
grime off of it. And then, like I said, all of our stuff is by appointments. A lot of times we do have appointments 7 days a week available just, you know, between all of us. You know, and we do ask you some questions, you know, leading up. If we do tell you that you need to go to urgent care or you need to go to the ER, it's not because we don't like you. It's legit. We want you to stay safe and we want, you know, like,
Best care for you.
yeah, I
And
mean,
we're not, because we're
we're-
not just about like taking your money and all this stuff. We genuinely care about you.
Yeah.
We want you to feel good. We want you to get the best treatment for yourself. And if we don't genuinely think that we can provide that, we're not just gonna treat you.
And you might need to pair that, right? So you might
Yeah.
need that medication to get you past that, but you also need to supplement with
Yeah.
a vitamin.
and there's a lot of, you know, critical things that can mimic,
Yep.
you know, just being sick. And people will just kind of blanket, you know, oh, I'm just not feeling good. And then we come in and we're like, okay, let's look at some things. And so I think being, you know, from like the ER, having all those years of experience, we're going to be making sure you're not at risk for like a heart attack, for a stroke, anything like that, pneumonia. I mean, we'll listen to your lungs. And if we think it's something where you need an additional, we're going to send you that way. You can always come back to us, but safety is top priority.
Absolutely. I love that. Weird question here. So if someone's saying, you know, I've had my annual exam, but like I've been relatively healthy. I just, you know, I haven't had a blood draw panel, you know, anything like that done in a long time. How do you do that? Like, can you schedule it yourself or what does that look like?
So you can come in, you can schedule like with us. If there's anything that we're concerned about, we do like work with a couple natural, like naturopathic doctors and NPs in the area that will work with insurance. We'll also, you know, send you to, you know, like Altru or Sanford, and just say, hey, you know, we want a little bit more information. And so far, I mean, most people, like, they've, you know, been appreciative, like, listened and, you know, follow through. And I mean, it's just that circle of, you know, care is you're still a patient. We still want to make sure that we're doing right by you and, you know, making sure you're healthy because you know, that's what we became nurses and, you know, nurse
Why you wanna
practitioners
do that.
for. So yeah.
So do I like my chart, my primary care provider, and just say, hey, I just really want to I want to see like my full scope of where I'm at, because am I tired because I'm just getting old? Or, you know, what is that? And so is that something you can commonly just say, hey, this is, and they would order that? Or what is that? Look, for us non-medical people.
I mean, if you have a good, I mean, I know, like for me, I am probably the most loyal patient ever. I still fly to my dentist.
Yes.
And I like went to his dad, and I'm just like, okay, so if you retire, who's going to take over? 'Cause,
That's a
you know,
whole new level of loyalty, right?
I was just gonna
Right?
say you got to be their number one customer if you're or patient if you're flying.
yeah. So for me, like once you get established with that provider, a lot of times I've never had an issue with, hey, you know what? I'm, you know, sick or whatever. What do you think?
Yeah.
And most people do. I would say, you know, getting that annual thyroid checked, you know, especially like men as you get older, your PSA, those are all really important labs that unfortunately, you know, some people want to like overlook. That they're like, oh, I'm fine. I'm just going to put it off till next year.
Right.
Always having that annual physical is a great baseline. You know, as you get older, you can always talk to your primary care provider and say, hey, can I get like my hormones checked? I know there's also some great practices around town that will also do extensive like hormone panels, especially, you know, you mentioned menopause, perimenopause. We have a couple that are really good that will just, and they're not, you know, pushy. They will literally just, you know, set down. There's some great providers at All True that are women and very much like women minded in like how they provide care. So I would say always go back, get established with a primary care provider, because we're not getting younger.
No. Nope.
And it's always good to have that baseline lab work and check your hormones. And, you know, I think just how healthcare is transitioning into kind of more a whole health like model and how it's going to be shaped in the future. You know, I think especially here, we look at more the Scandinavian countries, and, you know, I still have family that live in Sweden, and it's just such an interesting, like different dynamic of how they care, their relationships with their, you know, providers, and especially women's health is so much different there. So I feel like the US is slowly going to get there.
Yeah.
But always, you know, messaging your provider if you're established and being like, hey, you know, I need to get my labs checked. I need to have that one-on-one conversation with you. I'm also going to take them back to, you know, Nectar and then, you know, create some like vitamin plans. That is 100% what we want you to do.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think we get stuck in that pickle of, you know, like, well, does my insurance cover this? Is this something I need? And being an advocate for yourself of saying, you know, like, well, maybe my doctor didn't say it, but I'm curious because I'm doing my own. You all are that next step, right? Because some people just say, well, I checked the box, did my mammogram, or, you know, my, you know, this and that. But it's okay to feel better than you already are. I think also a lot of women I've visited with talk about having that hormone check, because especially after baby or a certain age, like we think, I'm just going to carry this weight, or I'm just doing this, when actually like hormones are crazy. Like what a, yeah. But having that looked at, and where someone says it had something to do with my hormones, and I was working out like a crazy person and not losing the weight, or I was constantly tired, but I felt like I was doing the right things. And so just having that checked and feeling comfortable that you can ask somebody to, you know, what do I need to do? What does that look like?
And I think, and Amanda can elaborate more on this, especially for like women and fitness. I think I mean, in the past, it was all about like aerobics and, oh, you need to like just be soaking wet with sweat. And women are like, well, I'm not losing weight, when, you know, you need the vitamins, but you also need the muscle. You need all that. And
Strength training is really, really important for your metabolism, for your health of your bones, and hopefully it's gaining popularity. I think it is.
Yeah.
But it's just wild just to see, because I do like group fitness coaching, the mindset that people still have behind like training and stuff like that, they'll come in and they won't want to pick up like the heavy weights. And I'm just like, you're not going to turn into some big macho muscular man. I promise you that.
Right.
You need to build up. You want that toned look. You need to build the muscle underneath. And that increases your metabolism, helps you burn more. And then that fat's going to start coming off. But also the importance of diet.
Yeah.
You cannot out-train a bad diet. I've heard many people say this, and I've seen it. And that's just so important, but not trying to do everything all at once, because then you're going to crash and burn. You're going to be overwhelmed. It is, you have to think of it as like a lifelong journey, a process that I'm going to change and pick up these habits for good. And so you need to find things that you enjoy and that benefit you and work into your lifestyle. And it's going to look different for everyone, But it's just slow and steady really, really does win the race. Because if you can drop that weight that fast, you're going to pick it up just as quick.
Yep. And altering all the different things, doing the good things for your body, and guilty as charged as I eat, chicken nuggets half the time for dinner, like whatever's left on my son's plate, and doing those things. But what are the little things? I worked with a naturopathic doctor one time in Colorado, and he was like, what are the little things? Like, can you do organic just of this? Or is there something, because we go so heavy, we were just talking about the mall walkers out there, like everybody is really excited for January, and then, it falls off. And so I think we bite off more than we can chew usually in January. So.
And that's the thing, is walking is so beneficial. And I think people think that you have to run and you have to do all these things, but it's honestly, you can just start by walking, and it's extremely beneficial physically, mentally, emotionally, especially during the winter time when we're feeling like we're stuck inside. Like you said, the mall walking.
The mall walkers.
Yes.
Yeah. Just getting out and about. Yeah.
Social.
Yes. Yeah. Exercise gives you endorphins. Endorphins make you happy, and happy people just don't kill their husbands. Like, like my friend just says on, Legally Blonde. So, I always remind people of that when they're like down in the dumps, is that those endorphins, they really kick in.
Well, and we've also had people like come in and do like infusions as like their monthly date.
Oh.
Because like you're just sitting there next to each other, getting an infusion, and it forces you're literally like tied. You got an IV pole and you're hooked up to an IV, so you have to sit there and you have to talk to your partner.
You have to chat. Yeah.
And they love it. And then I've even had like moms and daughters come in and just do it, and they just hang out and they talk. And honestly, I love hearing all the laughter. But then there's different, people like to come in, and we turn down the lights. We turn on a heater, give them a blanket, a pillow.
That's my style.
And they just relax, kick back in the recliner, kick up their feet. So, I mean, this experience that we provide, we can just tailor it to whatever you're looking to get out of it.
What you need to do.
Yeah, whatever you need to do for you.
Yeah. And taking that time for it. So like you said, some people are they're constantly go, but they need something. So might be, like you said, the shot or the vitamin, here, or it could be that chill out, but hopefully it's not where somebody's seeing you every other week. It's we're trying to get you, you don't want to see them all the time. It's just like the ER. You don't like to see returning guests as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, if somebody, is listening and they're like, hey, I am stuck, in like, how do I, work out? Give us a call. We'll set you up with Amanda. She will, come out. I mean, even doing like 5 squats each morning before you leave the house, put your shoes on, that's going to help your, your like hips and strengthen that, because as we get older, we're more of a fall risk, and just being able to strengthen those muscles helps with that. And so she's great at creating, like fitness plans and, creating like different, kind of like workout diet things. So take advantage of it, because she's awesome at that.
Bring her in. And you do mobile. So if someone says, I'm on call, I've got certain things, or, I'm home with littles, you come to someone's home or work or things like that as well.
Yes, we do. We have to, still do like the intake process and stuff like that. But yeah, we do try to like meet people within, what they can do. So
yeah,
we do a lot of like motels and other businesses,
Yeah.
like when people are sick. So
yeah, they're here.
And an event, like we just had an event with Anu as well, and that was really awesome. We love to collaborate with other businesses around here too, and providers.
Yeah.
So if you
you've
ever
got
want to
something coming up,
host an event with us, we would
Yes.
absolutely love that.
think a ladies' night out, kind of go through the stuff. Listen, we're all talking about it as we're like maybe having a wine or a cocktail. The conversations now in my 40s when girls' night out are a little different, right? So, we're all having the conversation. Maybe have it at Nectar Wellness, and make it a girls' event, but kind of normalize the conversation. I do tell people when they're, they've got that like Disney plan, or even for folks that are like, hey, we close next week, we're moving, and I'm like, okay, but like that's when you get sick, like that's when you go down, and so
Stresses up, immune system's weaker.
yes, and we forget to take care of ourselves because we've got all those things, and so I've always recommended, hey, go get that like boost for yourself, so you feel like you at least have a good base. And if you're a subscriber of my newsletter, we have a little treat in February coming out, so we got a little featuring Nectar Wellness and a little coupon in there that's going to be for the whole year for people.
So right now we have, just because like we know everybody's sick, but yet we just survived the holidays and finances can be a little rough after it. So, we are doing 30% off your first IV, 25% off for returning customers because we wanted to make sure that they got in on it. And that ends the end of February.
Okay. Yep.
And then
My coop.
you
Yeah.
get 20% off, and it's good till the end of the year. So
if you missed February, get in there. If you're not subscribed to my newsletter, let me know. I'd love to send that out to you. But they are my feature business for the month of February, and so that'll hit your inbox here February 1st or 2nd, depending on what life treats me to on the 1st. But then that will be in there, and you can utilize that coupon. Come in and see them. Again, that's through the year, so you don't have to rush in. But right now, that's a great special to have 30% off, to come in and see. Also, IV and shots. People are like, oh my gosh, I hate doing that. Talk us through that. So for the people that are like, oh my gosh, like that sounds like a horrible experience. Needles aren't fun. We're not going to pretend it's like a tickle. But what is that like for somebody that's maybe like a little nervous about their first
and
visit?
that's why we're, all of us are ER, because it's kind of important. I feel like, especially, your ER nurses, your medics, we're a little accustomed to, IVs. And so, making sure that, we can get in there. We do use, a small gauge, so we're not using what we use in a trauma. So please don't think that. As far as like your IV needle. So it's a nice small needle, and we give you like a warm pack and try to make you as comfortable as possible.
Talk you through the whole process. I mean, ER nurses, majority of patients that come in we end up giving them an IV. So it is a skill that we are very proficient in, and I personally love to do. So like she said, we use a small gauge. We talk you through the entire process, and I'm just going to put it out there because you'd be surprised how many people don't realize that when you're getting an IV, the needle doesn't stay in your arm. It's like a flexible little catheter, almost like a tiny little straw that stays in there, versus like when you like get your blood drawn, they keep that needle in, right? So I think if you've never had one before, people can get kind of freaked out about that. And if you don't like to look at it after we start it, remember, you can bend your arm. It's not going to like poke through your vein or anything like that. It's not going to be uncomfortable. We can cover it up so you don't have to look at it. I am someone that I think when I was going in to have my baby, I was probably more nervous for the IV than giving birth. And the IV went great. And because it was only like the second time in my life I ever had an IV, so I was nervous. So I completely understand and relate with people when they come in and they're nervous, because I still get a little bit nervous and I poke people all day.
You're like, I got this.
I got this. Yes.
Did you try to do your own IV? Were you like, I got this?
Oh my gosh, no. So I'm an ER nurse, right? I pass out at the sight of my own blood.
Okay.
But I can see other people's, no problem.
Okay.
So when I was actually trying to, like when I was becoming an ER nurse, you have to do blood work and stuff like that. I did pass out. And they're like, they look at me and they're like, you're going to be an ER nurse?
Yeah.
And I'm like, yep. I just can't do my own blood.
She's like, I know that blood, that's mine.
Yes.
You can sense it. That's awesome. Well, just sit down, just meet, connect. You can find Nectar Wellness on social media. Is it at
It's Nectar Wellness Medical.
Nectar Wellness Medical. Okay.
Yes,
And then online. So you can find all the information on there. You can connect with the gals there or DM me if you have any questions. I can connect you with them as well. But thank you so much for coming in and talking about it.
Did
Well,
you want to
thanks for
talk
having us.
about anything future that's upcoming for us?
Well, we do have like the event next door.
Next.
That's
oh,
coming
yes.
in that men's
Okay.
event.
Men's event. Yeah.
The 22nd.
Okay. Of February.
February.
Okay.
Yep. So we have that, and then we're going to be branching out more into Minnesota.
Okay.
So, like, if you are a business in Minnesota that wants to do, or if you want to do an event in Minnesota,
We can do it.
we can do it.
Okay.
Like-
I love this.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sky's the limit.
Okay, my wheels are churning, and so I've got some things up my sleeve. I know people know I like to have events and little invite only things. So we'll talk because I'm more about people being healthy this year and not spreading the germs about as much as we can.
Hey,
Love
I
it.
completely understand.
She's like, yes, let's do this. So awesome. Okay, well, stay tuned for more information concerning Nectar Wellness. And thank you guys again so much for being here.
Thanks for
And-
having
so
us.
much for
Yes,
having
and
us. It
make
was so fun.
Yes, make sure that everything you do today, you put a fork in it.